Hello YouTubers, I wanted to do a little bit of video on a brake job where I had to fix a Case 480C backhoe. It's a fairly old backhoe, but it's still working pretty good. I got everything on the side, hadn't got it all back together yet, so I wanted to make sure that I showed people at least the trials and tribulations that I went through in order to get this thing fixed. And so at this point, I'll kind of come in here. It was easier for me to remove the console. You'll see it sitting up here. Kind of painted it black, made it look good again, but removing that behind the steering column was what you kind of had to do to get in there and get to the master cylinders. And I also went ahead and pulled the floor out of the backhoe so that I could get access to the top. Everything was really rusted down. These pedals were stuck to the floor and really had a whole heck of a lot of problems, and I'll kind of go over those. So underneath your console, you've got your two master cylinders right here and right here, and for me, both of those were locked up and actually needed rebuilt, so I had to pull them out. I bought a rebuild kit for $20 off eBay, believe it or not, and went ahead and pulled the pistons out and rebuilt them and stuck them back in, and they're working really good now. So you can see back here, those are the pistons where they attach to the brake pedals, and in pretty good shape there now. Really a really big pain trying to get these bolts off the side here, and both those bolts here and here run through both master cylinders and connect over underneath the steering column. Well, for me, I also had to work on these brake lines. This brake line right here and this one here actually had a hole in it, and you can see I kind of had to go down here and get this thing fixed to where it would be welded and actually not spew any brake fluid out. So we replaced both springs. Get you under here where you can see that. Ordered 2 new springs for this so that we'd get a whole lot of pressure on these pedals when we're doing that. Now, since the floor is removed, you can kind of see that it really makes it a whole lot easier to do the brake job. You don't have to do it that way, but it's certainly a whole lot easier. Now, the way this works is the master cylinders transmit the fluid back down here to the brake housings. And looking down here, we've got brake housings on 2 sides. And so right here, this is part of the parking brake, and then you've got a brake housing right here, and this is part of the parking brake, and this is the self-adjusting mechanism here, and the brake housing is underneath. And it's a little harder to see, but certainly really in order to get to most of the brake components, you have to pull off those brake housings with 4 bolts, and it'll let you look at the actual brake housings and the brake bands and the brake drum. And so getting those off is pretty easy, really. The only 2 things holding these brake housings on is really this right here that goes to the parking brake. And so if you could reach that from underneath, theoretically you could take that out. And then of course we've got this little hose here, and this hose runs to the slave cylinder, which is underneath, and again pretty hard to see. Work on my focus here. You can see that line running into the slave cylinder underneath that pushes up on the brake housing. And so for me also, both of those slave cylinders were locked up and had to actually pull them out and rebuild them. The easiest way to do that would probably be to pull off the brake housing and work on everything out in the garage. Once you get everything off and get the levers loose and get all the springs off, it'd be pretty easy. So to pull off a brake housing, you pull this off and remove this hose right here, take off 4 bolts, and you're really good to go. And same with the other side. And again, parking brake, your hose for your slave cylinder, and then pull off 4 bolts, slide the whole housing off. That gives you access to the bands and the brake drum underneath, and makes it a whole lot easier to work on if you can get it off without removing the floor. But since I had so much rusted down, I really had to take a bit of a different approach. And so really everything seems to be working pretty good. I did have to replace all the self-adjusting mechanism here so that when I push on the brake, now that it's all bled out, you can actually see that move just a little bit. And it's adjusted to where it's actually perfect right now. And I also had to adjust the parking brake a little bit, and now it works as well. And you can see it kind of pulling up on that, and it's working as well now. So As far as brakes go, it's got a whole brand new system, new bands, drum. The only thing that's really original on that would be the brake housings and the brake lever, some of the parking brake, but everything is pretty well good and should be able to be rebuilt. It's probably a simple job that anybody could do with a little mechanical knowledge, but be ready for a little bit of work because a lot of things will be rusted. That's about it. Good luck. If you have any questions, give me a call or email.